I smooth the front of my navy dress, the one I spent 3 months saving for Anne, take a deep breath before entering the grand foyer of Riverstone Manor. Madison's wedding venue is exactly what she always wanted. Marble floors that gleam like mirrors, crystal chandeliers catching the late afternoon sunlight, and floral arrangements so perfect they barely look real. White roses and pale pink peonies cascade from pedestals placed at precise intervals, their subtle fragrance mingling with expensive perfume. A string quartet plays softly in the corner, the familiar notes of Pachelbel's canon floating through the air, as guests in designer outfits mingle and laugh. This is Madison's moment, her perfect day. Despite our differences, I've been looking forward to witnessing it. Beautiful, isn't it? An older woman comments as she passes, diamond earrings catching the light. I nod and smile. Breathtaking. The seating chart display stands near the entrance to the ballroom in elegant affair, with calligraphy on cream cardstock, framed in ornate silver. Guests cluster around it, finding their names and table numbers with pleased murmurs. I hang back until there's a clearing, then step forward, my finger tracing down the family tables first. Table 1. Mother and Father Carson, Madison's godparents, Uncle Robert and Aunt Grace. Table 2. Grandparents, Ryan and his wife, cousins from Dad's side. I frown, scanning again. Perhaps I missed it. My finger moves more deliberately now, checking each name at tables 3 and 4, where extended family is seated. My name isn't there. I check again, my heart beating faster. Then I scan every table listed, eyes darting across all 14 arrangements. My name simply doesn't exist on any of them. Can I help you find your seat? I turn to see a wedding coordinator in a sleek black dress, clipboard in hand, and sympathy already forming in her eyes. She's seen this before, the confused guest, the awkward moment. I'm Natalie Carson, I say, the bride's sister. Something flickers across her face, discomfort, perhaps recognition. Ah, yes, Miss Carson. She hesitates, then gestures toward the hallway. You're at table 15. I follow her gesture and spotted a small round table positioned near the coat check, just outside the main ballroom. It stands alone like an afterthought, partially obscured by a decorative column. There must be some mistake, I say, my voice sounding distant to my own ears. I'm Madison's sister. The coordinator's smile turns brittle. I'm sorry, but this is the arrangement I was given. She lowers her voice, specifically approved by the bride. Heat floods my face, rising from my chest to my hairline in a wave I can't control. The room suddenly feels too warm, too crowded. I'm aware of eyes on Memmy cousin Bethany, whispering to her husband, an aunt from Ohio, watching with undisguised curiosity. My stomach twists as though I've been physically struck. 29 years of being the forgotten middle child, the one whose accomplishments were acknowledged with distracted nods, while Madison's smallest achievements warranted celebration, and yet this still blindsides me. I remember Thanksgiving just 6 months ago, Madison glowing as she announced her engagement, the antique diamond sparkling on her finger. How I'd hugged her afterward, genuinely happy for her, despite our complicated relationship. I'd love to help with the planning, I'd offered. Just let me know what you need. Thanks, Nat, she'd said with that dismissive smile. But Denise? That's Blake's mom. She's got connections with all the best vendors. And Mom's been dreaming of this day forever. More memories surface. Mom and Madison poring over bridal magazines when I visited at Christmas, their conversation stopping when I entered the room. The group texts about bridesmaids' dresses that somehow never included me. The way Dad changed the subject when I asked about wedding details over the phone. I'd told myself I was imagining the distance, that moving to Oregon for my teaching job had naturally created some separation, that family connections sometimes need time to adjust. I was wrong. My first impulse is what it's always been, to accept this slight with grace, to take my seat at the isolated table, to keep the peace at my own expense, to be the Natalie everyone expects, accommodating, understanding, invisible. But something shifts inside me, a tectonic plate moving after years of pressure. This isn't just about a seating chart. This is about a lifetime of being overlooked, of my needs and feelings being secondary to everyone else's convenience. I straightened my spine, feeling a strange calm replace the initial shock. Some family ties aren't meant to bind, they're meant to break. The realization settles over me with surprising clarity. Across the foyer, I spot the mom in her mother of the bride finery, Madison radiant in a white robe, saving the dress reveal for later, of course, both laughing with an elegant older woman who must be Denise, Blake's mother. They stare the entrance to the bridal suite, champagne flutes in hand, perfectly at ease. My feet begin moving toward them before my mind fully forms the decision. Each step feels deliberate, purposeful. Have you ever wondered what happens when a person who's been invisible their whole life suddenly decides to be seen? Madison's perfect day was about to show exactly that. My feet carry me across the marble floor with purpose, each step echoing against the polished stone. Madison stands in a circle of admiration her mother, 3 bridesmaids in matching silk robes, and Denise all gathered around her like planets orbiting a sun. Their laughter cuts off abruptly as I approach. "Oh, Natalie," Madison's voice rises half an octave, that artificial brightness I've known since childhood. "Don't you look nice?" Her eyes flick over my carefully chosen navy dress, the one I wore to my master's graduation event. She skipped because her college roommate was having a housewarming party the same weekend. I feel the familiar sting, then push it aside. "Thank you," I reply, my voice steadier than expected. I'm a bit confused about the seating arrangements. Mom immediately steps forward, champagne flute still in hand. "Not now, Natalie. It's Madison's special day." The dismissive wave of her hand is so practiced, I wonder if she's even aware she's doing it. I notice the bridesmaids exchange glances. One of them, Jessica, I think takes a small step backward, as if removing herself from whatever is about to happen. A few guests linger nearby, their attention caught by our little tableau. I understand it's a special day, I continue, focusing on Madison. That's why I'm surprised to find myself seated at a table by the coat check, outside the ballroom. Madison's perfect smile falters, then reassembles itself. "We had to prioritize close family at the main tables," she says, her voice carrying just enough for the growing audience to hear. "I am close family." The words come out simple, factual. Something shifts in Madison's eyes, a calculation. A decision. "You're not really immediate family anymore, Natalie." She straightens her silk robe, embroidered bride, catching the light. "You moved away, you barely visit, and honestly, we're just in different places now." The blow lands with precision. In one sentence, she's rewritten our entire history, 29 years of shared bathrooms, Christmas mornings, and family vacations erased, because I dared to build a life that didn't revolve around Cedar Falls, Iowa. Mom steps closer to Madison, a united front. "Natalie, please. Today isn't about seating charts. It's about celebrating your sister's happiness." Which is exactly why I came, I counter, surprised at the clarity in my voice. Denise chooses this moment to drift into our circle, her tailored pantsuit and pearl earrings radiating old money confidence. She looks me up and down with barely concealed amusement. "Oh, so you're the one with that special seat." Her predatory smile doesn't reach her eyes. Weddings really do show who matters most in a family, don't they? The realization washes over me like ice water. This wasn't oversight or thoughtlessness, this was deliberate. The quick glance between Madison and Denise confirms it. They planned this humiliation together, probably over lunch at that country club Madison mentioned in her texts last month. From the corner of my eye, I notice movement. Daniel, Madison's fiancé, has paused mid-conversation with his groomsmen, his attention caught by our group. His brow furrows slightly as he watches the interaction unfold. "Natalie." Dad's voice carries across the marble as he approaches, sensing tension but clearly unaware of its source. He's always been like this, arriving after the emotional damage is done, puzzled by the aftermath. Across the room, I catch the eye of our cousin Rebecca, 15 years older and the family truth teller. She gives me a subtle nod of understanding. I'm not imagining this. I'm not overreacting. A camera shutter clicks nearby, the wedding photographer capturing candid pre-ceremony moments. unaware she's documenting something far more revealing than champagne toasts. Just accept your seat and don't make a scene. Madison hisses, voice low enough that only I can hear. The mask has slipped completely now, revealing the calculation beneath. Mom leans in from the other side. Your father and I are very disappointed in how you're behaving. Family dynamics can be so revealing, can't they? Denise adds, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. Her smug satisfaction reminds me of cats I've seen toying with wounded birds. The wedding coordinator hovers at the edge of our group, anxiously checking her watch. The ceremony is scheduled to begin in 30 minutes, and this confrontation wasn't on her timeline. I take a deep breath, feeling something settle inside me. Not anger exactly, but clarity. I came here hoping to celebrate my sister, I say, voice steady despite the tears I feel welling. Now I'm just hoping to understand when I became less than family. I blink the tears back, refusing to let them fall. Madison shifts her weight, suddenly looking less sure of herself. My words hang in the air, resonating with a truth that makes her uncomfortable. Daniel steps closer to Madison now, his expression questioning. He places a hand on her silk-covered elbow, a gesture that's both support and inquiry. Is everything okay? He asks, though his eyes suggest he already knows the answer is no. Then I remember the text evidence I wasn't planning to use today. Last month, Madison had called me after a particularly stressful meeting with Denise about the wedding. Madison, I say, watching her face carefully. Remember our conversation last month about Denise? I believe your exact words were, Madison's eyes widen, all color draining from her face. She knows exactly what she said, a 15-minute rant about Denise's controlling nature, her inappropriate comments about Daniel's career choices, and her determination to make the wedding a showcase for her country club friends rather than a celebration of the couple. In this moment, I have a choice. I can repeat those words and watch the carefully constructed facade crumble. Or I can walk away with my dignity intact but my truth unspoken. The champagne in Mom's glass trembles slightly. Dad steps closer, confusion evident on his face. Daniel's attention is fully on us now, his gaze moving between Madison's suddenly panicked expression and my composed one. Denise narrows her eyes, sensing a shift in power she doesn't understand. I make my decision, straightening my spine as years of accommodating everyone else's comfort at the expense of my own falls away. Sometimes, truth is the kindest form of revenge. Madison, I think Denise would be very interested to hear what you told me about her wedding takeover. My voice is calm but carries just enough to ensure Denise catches every word, especially the part about her speech. Mother's fingers dig into my forearm as she pulls me behind a massive floral arrangement. Her pearls gleam under the chandelier light, a stark contrast to the fury darkening her face. You will apologize to your sister and take your assigned seat, she hisses, voice tight with controlled anger. The familiar tone one I've heard all my life, when I've dared step out of my designated role. Madison has been planning this day since she was 16, and I won't allow you to create a spectacle. Over Mother's shoulder, I catch Denise gathering Blake's aunts around her like a general assembling troops. She points in my direction with subtle precision, her perfectly coiffed silver hair catching the light as she leans in to whisper something that makes the women glance my way with practiced concern. Meanwhile, Madison has positioned herself perfectly within view of the most guests, dabbing at the corner of her eye with a monogrammed handkerchief. No actual tears fall, she's too careful for that, but the performance is enough. The controlled distress of a bride whose special day is being threatened. 15 minutes until the ceremony begins, the wedding coordinator announces, her voice carrying across the foyer with professional brightness that doesn't match her worried expression. I take a deep breath and find my voice come steadier than expected. I don't believe I'm the one who should apologize. Mother's eyes widen just slightly at my response. In 30 years, she's rarely heard this tone from me. The peacemaker, the one who steps aside, the one who accommodates. A flash of memory. My apartment moved to Oregon 3 years ago. Boxes stacked in my small rental car because no one offered to help. My phone call that night to share I'd arrived safely met with distracted responses. and Madison interrupting to discuss her promotion. Another memory surfaces: the state teaching award I received last spring. The ceremony I attended alone, watching other recipients celebrate with proud families. The congratulatory text I sent to the family group chat that received thumbed up reactions but no actual responses. The quiet dinner I made myself that night, opening a bottle of wine to toast my own accomplishment. This isn't appropriate, Mother continues, lowering her voice as a couple passes. People are watching, Natalie. They certainly are, I agree, feeling a strange calm settle over me, and they're seeing exactly what this family is. I straighten my shoulders, a physical manifestation of the internal shift I feel, the strength that comes from building a life without their approval, a quiet confidence I've never fully claimed until now. Mother's face tightens. Your father and I are very disappointed. In me, I finish for her, for expecting to be treated as family, or in Madison for deliberately excluding me. Before she can answer, I step away and walk with deliberate steps back toward where Madison stands with Denise. I choose my moment carefully when other guests are nearby, when retreating would make more of a scene than continuing. Denise, I say with a warm smile that doesn't quite reach my eyes. Madison was just saying the other day how stressed she was about seating arrangements. Madison freezes, champagne flute halfway to her lips. Denise's eyebrows lift slightly with interest. Oh? Denise tilts her head, the large diamond earrings catching the light. She seemed quite certain about everything when we reviewed the charts. I nod sympathetically. Planning is such a challenge, especially with so many important people to consider. The careful delivery maintains plausible deniability could be attempting to smooth things over, or I could be setting something in motion. The beauty lies in the balance. From the corner of my eye, I see Daniel approaching, concern etched across his features as he notices his bride's distress. My father finally appears as well, confusion evident in the furrow of his brow as he senses the undercurrent of tension. Across the room, Mrs. Thompson, me grandmother's oldest friend, catches my eye and offers a subtle nod. I'd helped her daughter find a teaching position last year. The wedding photographer moves unobtrusively around us, capturing candid moments that will tell a story beyond the posed portraits. She was particularly worried, I continue, voice gentle but carrying just enough, about certain people making speeches and turning the whole reception into being about themselves. Denise's expression shifts like storm clouds gathering. The smugness that had played at the corners of her mouth vanishes, replaced by something sharper, more suspicious. What exactly do you mean by that? She asks, her voice dropping an octave. Madison steps forward, fingers clenching her champagne flute. Natalie, this isn't the time. Madison. Daniel interrupts, his voice carrying that particular note men use when they've just realized something important. Did you really say that? The air between us changes. Madison's panic is palpable, a living thing that colors her cheeks and widens her eyes. I feel something shift inside me, physical, almost, like straightening after carrying a heavy load for miles. The weight of years of dismissal lifting from my shoulders, allowing me to stand at my full height. For the first time in 30 years, I'm not invisible anymore. In the moment of chaos that follows Madison stumbling through denials, Denise's narrowing gaze, Daniel's confusion deepening, I notice the wedding gift table near the entrance. My present sits there, wrapped in silver paper I spent an hour selecting, with a card containing words of forgiveness and love I'd written even after learning about the seating chart. Without hurry, I move toward the champagne table and select a glass with unhurried confidence. The cool stem between my fingers grounds me in the moment. I take a small sip, watching the scene unfold with a clarity I've never experienced before. Denise turns to Madison, her voice cutting through the murmurs of nearby guests. Is this why you tried to change my speech 3 times? She demands, no longer bothering with discretion. What exactly were you afraid I would say? Madison's desperate denial crumbles under pressure. It wasn't like that, I just thought with so many speeches already. I sip my champagne, watching the scene unfold with a strange sense of detachment, mixed with satisfaction. Some revenge is best served not cold, but with perfect timing. Have you ever witnessed someone who always got their way finally face consequences? What was that moment like? The truth revealing itself doesn't require my narration. It simply needs the right moment to emerge. I positioned myself carefully behind a large floral arrangement, close enough to hear Madison and Denise, but not so obvious that they noticed me immediately. The string quartet has shifted to Vivaldi, providing just enough background noise to mask my presence while still allowing me to catch every heated word. What else have you been saying about me? Denise demands, her perfectly coiffed silver hair remaining immobile despite her agitation. Her diamond tennis bracelet catches the light as she gestures emphatically. First my speech, now this? Madison's eyes dart nervously around the gathering crowd. Please, Denise, we can discuss this later. Later? Denise's voice rises, drawing the attention of nearby guests. After I've made a fool of myself with that speech you approved, the one you secretly told your bridesmaids was trying too hard to be sentimental. I take a measured sip of champagne, allowing the dry bubbles to dance on my tongue. There's a strange calm settling over me as I watch 29 years of Madison's carefully constructed image begin to unravel. All it took was one truthful comment, planted at precisely the right moment. Mother swoops in, her lavender mother of the bride dress rustling as she positions herself between Madison and Denise. Denise, you know how brides get before the ceremony. Madison adores you. The lie hangs in the air, as transparent as the crystal flutes in our hands. 2 weeks ago, Madison had texted me a 3-paragraph rant about how Denise was hijacking her wedding with outdated opinions and embarrassing stories. I noticed Daniel watching from near the ballroom entrance, his groomsmen shifting uncomfortably behind him. His gaze moves from Madison to me, then back again. Understanding dawns in his eyes, not anger, but recognition. I wonder how many times Madison has shown him one face while revealing another elsewhere. She's doing this on purpose to ruin my wedding. Madison suddenly points directly at me, mascara already beginning to smudge beneath her right eye. Her bridal robe slips off one shoulder as she gestures wildly. She's jealous. She's always been jealous. Denise scoffs, the sound sharp as a blade. Don't blame your sister for your own words, Madison. Guests are no longer pretending not to notice. Aunt Catherine from Michigan whispers to Uncle Paul. Cousin Bethany, who always idolized Madison, stands with her mouth slightly open. The murmurs spread like ripples in still water, the family narrative shifting before my eyes. The golden child's shine dulling with each passing second. Dad finally approaches, confusion evident in the deep creases of his forehead. What exactly is going on here? His voice carries the authority it always has, but for once, it's not directed at me. Daniel steps forward, taking Madison's elbow. We need to talk. Now. His voice is quiet but firm as he guides her toward a side room. Madison throws one last desperate glance at our mother, who seems frozen in place. To my surprise, Dad moves to stand beside me. His cologne, the same old spice he's worn since I was a child, brings an unexpected lump to my throat. For the first time in memory, he isn't rushing to Madison's defense. Instead, his weathered hand rests lightly on my shoulder, a gesture so simple yet so profound, I almost lose my carefully maintained composure. I always thought that seating arrangement was strange. Comes a voice beside me. Aunt Judith, Dad's older sister, has appeared at my side. Her weathered hand pats my arm. Your grandmother would have never stood for it. That woman knew family comes first, real family, not this. Performance. She gestures toward Madison with a subtle tilt of her head. 2 of my cousins drift closer, offering small nods of acknowledgement. Ryan's wife, Lisa, whispers, "Are you okay?" The support feels foreign after years of standing alone. The wedding coordinator approaches Madison's mother, clipboard clutched to her chest like armor. Mrs. Carson, we're 30 minutes behind schedule. The officiant is asking about proceeding. Her words fade as Denise turns to her husband and son. We need to have a discussion before this ceremony proceeds. Her tone leaves no room for argument. Everything is fine. Madison's voice rises to a pitch I haven't heard since she was denied the lead in her high school musical. We just need to start the ceremony. Daniel's response cuts through the chaos. Not until we sort this out. 4 simple words that hold the weight of a future being reconsidered. I finish my champagne, savoring the last drop as I watch Mother's carefully constructed facade crumble. Her hands flutter uselessly at her sides, her practiced society smile replaced by naked panic. She sinks into a nearby chair, the elegant lines of her expensive dress now bunched unceremoniously. The woman who orchestrated every family gathering with precision can't control this unraveling moment. Madison's mascara has created delicate black rivers down her cheeks as she becomes increasingly frantic. She turns from person to person, first her bridesmaids, then Daniel, then back to Denise as if searching for someone who might still be under her spell. Her maid of honor stands awkwardly to the side, no longer sure of her role in this altered script. Across the room, Denise confers intensely with her husband, pointing emphatically toward Madison. Mr. Phillips, gray-haired and distinguished, nods gravely. Denise's brother joins them, leaning in to catch every word. The Phillips family has formed its own tight circle of whispered consultation. The wedding party has splintered before my eyes. Half of the bridesmaids hover near Madison, their matching pink robes clustered like cherry blossoms. 2 others have drifted toward the outer edges of the room, exchanging meaningful glances. Daniel's groomsmen stand in an uncertain cluster, loyalty to their friend visibly wrestling with the awkwardness of the situation. One checks his watch, another loosens his tie. With unhurried steps, I make my way toward the gift table, where my carefully wrapped present sits among the others. The heavy cream envelope bearing my handwriting rests against the silver paper, containing the heartfelt letter I wrote before I knew the truth. "Are you leaving?" The wedding coordinator appears beside me, her professional mask slipping to reveal genuine concern. I offer her a small smile. "I'm just making one small adjustment." My hand reaches for my carefully wrapped present, the antique first edition of poetry I'd spent months hunting down because Madison once mentioned liking the author. Inside, my inscription wishes for a marriage built on honesty and mutual respect. How ironic those words seem now. Madison breaks away from Daniel, her perfectly manicured hand slipping from his arm as she hurries toward me. Tears glisten in her eyes, not the messy, genuine kind, but the calculated tears that have worked on our parents for 27 years. "Please, Nat," she says, voice quivering just enough. "This is my wedding day. Can't you just sit where we planned?" Mother appears at her side, a united front as always. Her expression is hardened from embarrassment to anger. "Natalie Carson, don't you dare ruin your sister's special day." Across the marble foyer, Denise stands with her arms crossed, no longer bothering to hide behind social niceties. The truth about Madison's text messages has stripped away that veneer. She watches our exchange with the sharp attention of someone tallying points in a game. "Either take your seat in the hallway," Madison whispers, "or everyone will know you're the villain who ruined my wedding." The string quartet has shifted to a more urgent melody, a subtle reminder that time is passing. Dad approaches, his face creased with concern rather than understanding. "Let's all calm down and proceed with the ceremony," he says, patting the air with his hands as if he could physically press down the tension rising between us. People are being seated. We're on a schedule. Behind him, guests filter into the ballroom, some casting curious glances our way. The wedding coordinator taps her clipboard nervously, checking her watch for the 3rd time in as many minutes. Madison leans in, her expression hidden from the others. "I'll never forgive you if you ruin this for me," she hisses, breath warm against my ear. "Never." 29 years of these moments flash through my mind, the subtle threats, the emotional manipulation, the way our family always coalesces around Madison's desires. But something has fundamentally shifted inside me. The familiar weight of accommodation feels unbearable now. "Miss," the wedding coordinator interrupts, "we really need everyone seated now. We're already 20 minutes behind schedule." I straighten my spine and feel my voice emerge, calm and clear enough to carry. "I came here as family, Madison." The foyer quiets at my tone, which isn't loud but carries an unfamiliar authority. "But according to you," I continue, holding my sister's gaze steadily, "I'm not really immediate family anymore." I pause, feeling the weight of every eye on us. the suspended breath of the moment. So, I should respect your wishes. Rather than moving toward the hallway table, I turn toward the gift table. My fingers find the package I placed there earlier, cream paper with a blue ribbon, containing the antique silver frame I spent months hunting down to hold Madison's wedding portrait. Miss, please, the coordinator says, nearly jogging toward me. We really need everyone seated right now. I lift my gift from the table, cradling it in both hands. Madison gasps, her perfect makeup finally cracking with genuine emotion. Are you seriously taking your gift back? Why would I give a gift to a family that doesn't consider me part of it? My voice remains even, almost gentle. From nearby comes an unexpected sound, Denise's audible snort of approval. Our eyes meet briefly across the foyer. I turn to face Denise directly. Madison has quite a collection of text messages about you. The words land precisely where intended. Denise's eyebrows rise as she looks sharply at Madison. I shift my attention to Daniel, who stands frozen midway between his fiancée and his mother, and about her expectations for your marriage. His expression transitions from confusion to dawning realization. To my parents, who stand utterly still, and about how family obligations are just for show. I don't reveal everything, just enough to confirm there's more. The beauty of truth is that it needs no embellishment. Madison's face has drained of color, leaving her blush too bright against suddenly pale skin. Her hands flutter uselessly at her sides. I take a step toward the exit, then pause. These will be my last words to them for some time, and they deserve careful selection. I hope your special day shows you exactly who you are, I tell Madison, meeting her eyes with newfound clarity. To Mother, whose rigid composure has finally begun to crack. And I hope someday you realize what you've lost. Dad meets my gaze, and for once, I don't look away first. Silence in the face of cruelty is its own kind of betrayal. Then I turn, gift in hand, and walk toward the exit. My heels click distinctly against the marble floors, each step more confident than the last. The navy dress I saved for months to buy suddenly feels exactly right, the color of the deep water I'm navigating toward freedom. Behind me, the carefully orchestrated wedding dissolves into chaos. I think we need to have a serious conversation before this proceeds. Denise announces to Daniel, her voice carrying. Everything is fine. Madison's voice rises to a pitch I've never heard before, desperation cracking through her perfect facade. We just need to start the ceremony. From the corner of my eye, I see Mother collapse into a nearby chair, her hand pressed against her mouth. Dad stands motionless, watching me leave with an expression I can't quite interpret, perhaps the first stirrings of understanding. The heavy glass doors swing open at my approach, and I step out into the late afternoon sunlight. The air feels different, somehow cleaner, lighter. As the doors close behind me, muffling the sound of raised voices, my phone buzzes in my purse. I pause on the steps, shifting my gift to one arm as I retrieve my phone. A text message from Daniel appears on the screen. I had no idea. Can we talk? I slip the phone back into my purse without responding. Some conversations belong to tomorrow. Today belongs to me. When you finally stand up to family mistreatment, it often affects more than just you. The ripples move outward, touching every relationship, revealing truths that can no longer be ignored. Autumn sunlight streams through my classroom windows, casting a warm glow across desks arranged in a careful semicircle. I smooth a fresh welcome back banner above my whiteboard, the fabric soft beneath my fingers. A month has passed since Madison's wedding, or rather, since the wedding that never happened. I step back to survey my domain. Classics line the shelves: Austen, Baldwin, Morrison interspersed with young adult novels my students actually want to read. Potted plants bring life to each corner. Yellow sticky notes with inspirational quotes dot the walls, ready to catch teenage eyes during moments of wandering attention. Miss Carson? I turn to find Principal Hoffman at the doorway, phone in hand. Call for you in the office. Says it's important. I check my grandmother's watch, the one physical reminder I keep of the woman who saw me when no one else did. Still an hour before students arrive. Thanks, I'll take it. Walking the empty hallway, my footsteps echo differently now. There's a lightness I hadn't noticed before, as if I've set down a heavy suitcase I'd been carrying so long, I'd forgotten it wasn't part of me. Natalie, your seat is here. Dad stands in the doorway of his house, gray hair neatly combed, eyes holding a question. Behind him, the dining room table gleams with the good china reserved for special occasions. His 70th birthday. I hesitate on the threshold, the memory of another seating arrangement still raw despite the weeks between then and now. Right next to mine, he adds, voice gentle, I saved it for you. I follow him inside, past framed family photos where I always stood slightly apart, into the familiar dining room now transformed by my new perspective. The table is set for 8, not the usual 20 plus of full family gatherings. No Madison, no mom hovering anxiously nearby. My place setting sits at Dad's right hand, my name written in Mom's careful calligraphy on a crisp place card. I should have spoken up years ago. Dad and I stand on the back porch after dessert, watching darkness settle over the yard where we once built a treehouse together. Just the two of us, while Mom took Madison shopping for dance recital costumes. You were always so capable, Natalie, so self-sufficient. His weathered hands gripped the porch railing. I told myself you didn't need the attention they did. That was wrong. I sip coffee gone lukewarm, tasting the bitterness and finding it doesn't hurt like it once would. What happened after I left? Everything fell apart. He turns to face me fully. Daniel postponed the wedding indefinitely. Said he needed time to think. Your mother blames everyone but herself. Madison refuses to attend any gathering where you might be present. And you? I ask. I'm learning to see what was always there. To Natalie Carson, who finally stopped setting herself on fire to keep others warm. Emma raises her glass, my other friends joining the toast. Our monthly dinner has become a lifeline of laughter and understanding. Tonight, I finally told them everything. I still can't believe you kept all those texts, Sophia says, refilling my wine. Strategic genius. Not genius, just self-preservation. I smile, memories of Madison's frantic face fading a little more each day. My therapist calls it evidence gathering. Apparently, I've been doing it for years without realizing. Speaking of evidence, James says, his hand finding mine under the table, I've been gathering some myself. Evidence that you're remarkable, Natalie Carson. His thumb traces circles on my palm, and I don't pull away. The envelope arrives on a Tuesday. Heavy cream stationery, my name in unfamiliar handwriting. Inside, an invitation to Madison and Daniel's rescheduled wedding, 3 months from now. A handwritten note falls into my lap. Natalie, this comes with Madison's reluctant permission, but my full intention. I've learned much about family these past weeks, about patterns that persist until someone finds the courage to break them. Your sister isn't ready to acknowledge her part. Perhaps she never will be. Whatever you decide, know that I respect the boundaries you've drawn. Daniel. I placed the invitation on my kitchen table, next to the birthday card my father sent last week. Not rushing, I consider what response honors both his future. The gift I select is a beautiful serving platter. The card reads, some bridges shouldn't be rebuilt, but that doesn't mean you carry the ashes. I don't check the box for attending. To family, both the ones we're born with and the ones we choose. I raise my glass at the head of my dining table, Thanksgiving candles flickering across faces that reflect genuine warmth. My father sits opposite me, still learning to navigate holidays without Mom, who chose to spend the day with Madison. James stands beside me, steady and present. The empty chair between my father and my closest friend isn't an oversight. It's a reminder that some relationships remain works in progress, doors neither flung open nor permanently locked. Around us, conversation flows without the undercurrent of tension I once mistook for normal. No one here needs to raise their voice to be heard. No one disappears into the background. For the first time in my life, I'm hosting Thanksgiving, and every person at this table sees me completely.